Princess Leonor of Asturias, heir to the Spanish monarchy. The palace doors, the golden halls, the quiet breaths of history. You think you know this story. But you don't, because the girl the world once saw as just a ceremonial figure, is nothing like the future she's stepping into. And everything you thought about the next Spanish monarch is about to be rearranged. Princess Leonor has never been simply waiting for a crown. She's been preparing for a destiny that demands far more than power. It demands heart, sacrifice, and courage. She is not just the heir. She is the test Spain never expected. From the moment she was born in 2005, Leonor's life stopped belonging entirely to her. The cameras flashed within minutes. The nation celebrated. The monarchy exhaled. For the first time in modern Spanish history, the future of the crown was secured through a young girl. But underneath the celebration, a question lingered in private corners: could she truly carry the weight of a country still torn between tradition and change? Her childhood was quiet on the surface but intense beneath it. Every gesture learned, every word measured, every public appearance, no matter how small, analyzed by millions. Yet Leonor grew with a softness, a discipline, a deliberate calm that surprised even royal insiders. Where others might crack, she listened. Where others might retreat, she adapted. Where many heirs grow entitled, she grew purposeful. But purpose does not come without pressure. And from early on, Leonor faced the tension that comes with being both a daughter and a future monarch. Queen Letizia, protective, sharp, intentional, fought fiercely to preserve her daughter's privacy, even when the institution demanded visibility. King Felipe, dignified, steady, worked tirelessly to shield Leonor from the political storms surrounding the crown. But Leonor stood between those worlds, the private child and the public heir. And the balancing act shaped her in ways few outside the palace truly understood. As she grew older, Spain watched something extraordinary unfold. She wasn't just fulfilling duties. She was transforming them. Her first speeches revealed a clarity and poise rarely seen in someone her age. She spoke with calm confidence, eyes steady, voice unwavering. Each word seemed rehearsed not in repetition, but in intention. She was not trying to impress. She was trying to connect. And yet, behind each appearance, another question simmered: what kind of queen would Leonor become? A guardian of tradition, a modernizer, a bridge between generations, or something entirely new? The answer began forming when she entered the UWC Atlantic College in Wales. Far from Spain, far from palace protocols, she lived among students from wildly different cultures and backgrounds. She waited in cafeteria lines. She cleaned her own dorm. She studied without titles. And there, the heir to the Spanish monarchy learned something far more valuable than diplomacy. She learned humility in a world that didn't bend to her identity. But being away from home also meant confronting loneliness. For the first time in her life, she felt what it meant to be alone with her thoughts instead of surrounded by expectations. That solitude sharpened her, made her more introspective. And while her classmates saw a polite, quiet girl who blended effortlessly, they never knew the silent storm she fought each night, the knowledge that one day, she would lead a nation. When she returned to Spain for official duties, the difference was visible. She stood taller, spoke clearer, looked people in the eyes with a maturity years beyond her age. Journalists began noticing. Citizens began whispering. Even critics admitted, Leonor was becoming something uniquely powerful. But the biggest turning point had not arrived yet. It came during her military training. The heir to the Spanish throne is not merely symbolic. She must command, serve, lead. And the moment Leonor arrived at the military academy, the fairy tale dissolved. No silks, no cameras, no special treatment, just discipline, sweat, and reality. Early mornings, grueling drills, cold nights. When she cried, no one comforted her. When she struggled, no one eased the burden. She learned to march not as a princess, but as a soldier. And she excelled. Not because she was royal, but because she refused to disappoint the uniform she wore. Her instructors, initially skeptical, began praising her resilience. Her peers began respecting her stamina. She earned her place. She earned her stripes. And Spain watched with surprise as their future queen proved she could lead not from a throne, but from the ground beside her people. Yet while her public image soared, another layer of tension grew quietly in the background, the unavoidable distance between Leonor and her sister, Infanta Sofia. The two girls were extremely close, soft-spoken, supportive, inseparable. But Sofia knew that Leonor's life was not hers. Each step Leonor took toward the crown widened the path between them. Not in love, but in destiny. And both girls felt the shift. Their parents felt it too. King Felipe carried the heavy awareness that he was raising a successor, not just a daughter. Queen Letizia carried the fear of watching her child lose pieces of her childhood, bit by bit, to a future neither mother nor daughter chose alone. Yet despite the quiet sorrow of responsibility, the family stood united. And that unity became the heartbeat of Leonor's strength. As Leonor approached adulthood, a new curiosity loop emerged in the public's mind. Who would she be behind closed doors? What did she fear? What did she hope for? Whom did she love? The world speculated endlessly, and for the first time, Leonor faced the deeply human longing for personal freedom. The desire to make choices without the weight of national expectation. But love, for an heir, is never simple. The palace would one day demand a partner suited not only to her heart but to her role. A partner who could handle scrutiny, protocol, pressure. A partner capable of standing next to a queen. And though Leonor kept her private life fiercely protected, the tension between personal desire and royal duty began weaving itself quietly into her journey. Yet destiny pressed forward. On her 18th birthday, Leonor took the oath to uphold the Constitution. A defining moment. A moment that crystallized everything she had been preparing for since childhood. She stood in Parliament, poised, solemn, eyes unwavering, and spoke with a conviction that sent waves across Spain. It was no longer about training. No longer about preparation. On that day, Leonor became the living embodiment of Spain's future. And something remarkable happened. The nation believed in her. Not because she was perfect. Not because she was royal. But because she had earned their trust through discipline, humility, and authenticity. Her generation saw her as a modern leader. Older citizens saw her as a continuation of stability. Even skeptics began reconsidering their doubts. But with belief comes expectation. What kind of Spain would she build? How would she handle crises? How would she approach reforms? And most quietly wondered, would she carry her parents' dignity into her reign, or craft a new identity entirely her own? Leonor knows the answers are not simple. She knows her future holds challenges she cannot predict. Political storms, social changes, new tensions, new hopes. And she knows she must walk a line her ancestors never had to walk, a world where tradition must coexist with progress. But she is ready, because unlike the monarchs of the past, Leonor understands the emotional intelligence required of modern royalty. She understands that a queen is not only a figure of authority but a symbol of unity. A reminder of shared identity. A protector of cultural memory. And above all, a human being capable of compassion, empathy, and strength. Her journey is far from over. In many ways, it has only begun. The world will watch her grow. Spain will depend on her. And history will judge her. But the little girl born into duty has transformed into a woman prepared to adapt, evolve, and serve. She will face love. She will face loss. She will face political storms that no amount of protocol can predict. She will face the challenge of maintaining relevance in a rapidly changing world. And she will face the quiet, private battles that come with loneliness, duty, and sacrifice. But she will not face them as a fragile symbol. She will face them as Leonor, a leader shaped not by privilege, but by preparation. Not by entitlement, but by discipline. Not by pressure, but by purpose. The future Queen of Spain is not just stepping into history. She is preparing to rewrite it. And when the crown finally rests upon her head, Spain will witness something rare, the rise of a monarch who understands the weight of legacy but carries the courage to build her own. This is not simply the story of an heir. It is the story of a young woman ready to stand where centuries collide. Princess Leonor of Asturias. Spain's future. Spain's promise. Spain's next chapter.